Good afternoon, Migrant Leaders, mentees, the Migrant Leaders team, and of course, the team who are here to introduce CyberPath as a program and a whole host of opportunities for our Migrant Leaders students. My name is Elham Fardod. I'm the founder and CEO of the charity Migrant Leaders. I'd like to first of all welcome the CyberPath team being led today by Sophie Powell on this webinar, and really to thank them about the fabulous opportunities at CyberPath that we've been talking for a few months about. I encourage Migrant Leaders mentees who qualify for these programs to check this, ask questions on this webinar, and really engage during this webinar. So thank you very much. I will pass over to Sophie to deliver the webinar. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction, and we're delighted to be here today. So thank you so much for having us to present the opportunity of what is known as CyberPath. So as introduced, my name's Sophie. I'm joined by a few members of my team today, Eli, Abdullah, Thomas, and David, who are all on the call, and we will do some introductions in due course. But Eli, if I could ask you to share your screen with the presentation, that would be brilliant. I am aware this is being recorded, so if you kind of have any questions or may miss something, you can always have a look back to see, and then we'll also always be open to questions at the end as well if you'd like to ask any. So hopefully you'll find today really informative. The aims really are for you to learn about what the presentation kind of program is, what we offer our students, and we are also hosting a specific Migrant Leaders recruitment round just for your cohort as well, which hopefully a lot of you will kind of take advantage of and apply for the program, as we would love to introduce you to our kind of overall cohort. So we currently have around 70 students on the program, so we are growing out, so you'd be joining at a really, really great time where CyberPath is expanding. A lot more projects are being introduced, and a lot more CPD opportunities are being introduced as well. So a really exciting time, and exactly why this is such a good thing to kind of be presenting to you today and explaining a little bit more about it. Perfect, thank you. So as I said, welcome to our presentation. The CyberPath program is a really special program that is run as part of the National Cyber Resilience Centre group, and we are a kind of student-focused, police-led program, working alongside lots of different industry professionals, community groups, etc. And if I could have the next slide, please. So I just wanted to start off with a few small introductions. I'm going to hand over to the team, but I will begin. My name's Sophie. I'm the CyberPath Talent Manager. So my job is essentially ensuring that all the students on the programme have the very best opportunities, chance to train, and chance to really expand themselves on the programme to ensure that they're enjoying it and they're able to balance their academic studies alongside the CyberPath projects, and making sure that we are continuously expanding the program and making it more accessible for all the different people that we might have join us. So Eli, can I hand over to you just as you're next on my screen there?
Yeah, of course. So, hello everybody. Yes, I'm Eli. I'm one of the supervisors here at CyberPath. So, I actually started off as a CyberPath student myself back in May 2023. So yeah, so I've been a part of the program for about 2 years now, 2 and a bit years. So yeah, and I'm also a very keen motorbiker as well on the side. That's one of my favorite hobbies to do at the moment. But yeah, so I'm basically here to oversee all deliveries, all projects with clients as well.
Thanks, Eli. Abdullah?
Thank you, Sophie. My name's Abdullah. I am one of the other CyberPass supervisors. I too was a student. I know it's hard to believe looking at me, but I was a student back in 2019 in Scotland on the Scottish Centres, where I got to be part of the Scottish Centre, deliver all the services that we have. After university, I was able to join the CyberPath programme, and I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and my job as supervisor is to make sure that we're able to deliver the services that we have to a high standard, and also help support the students so they feel comfortable on learning the process of how we deliver services, and are able to feel comfortable once they finish university to go out in the big bad world and not only be able to talk the talk but also walk the walk.
Excellent. Thank you, Abdullah. Thomas.
So yeah, my name's Tom Roster. I'm the technical senior here at Cyberpath. So in terms of history, I've got 16 years in IT in general, 11 of which in cybersecurity, during which I've sort of run everything or sort of been part of everything from sort of a small consultancy all the way to working in a team within the Big Four. And my previous role before coming here was at BSI as I'm part of the security testing here. So I've seen and done quite a lot in what cybersecurity is, and sort of my job here at Cyberpath is to sort of maintain all the infrastructure that we use for testing, while also making sure that sort of everything we produce, everything we test, every report we issue is equal to or better than what you'd expect from a private consultancy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Thomas. And we're also joined by the interim head of Cyberpath today, David, if I could hand over to you.
Hey, thanks, Sophie. I'm David Socha. I am indeed head of Cyberpath. You do not want to know when it was that I was a student. It was a long time ago. That said, I spent most of my career in industry consulting for data and analytics. My job here now is to make sure the team are rounded up and pointed in the right direction, and also, importantly, that they are fully supported and they have all the tools and all the support they need to make Cyberpath the success that it is.
Brilliant. Thank you, team. So as you can see, a lot of different kind of experiences, backgrounds. Abdullah, Eli and I were students on the program ourselves. So we know how it is to be a student, and kind of coming back to further our experiences. So moving on, please, Eli, if you will. So what actually is Cyberpath, and what are we here to speak to you about today? So you've met the team. There are a few more of us behind the scenes, but we all do slightly different things. And as I kind of alluded to, Cyberpath is a police-led, business-focused program that aims to develop an elite cyber talent pipeline. So what that means is we are the National Cyber Resilience Centre Group is set up to support SMEs, so small to medium-sized enterprises or businesses, in making themselves more cyber resilient. So that is kind of the overall focus. And what Cyberpath does is, after the kind of services that are required to make these small to medium-sized enterprises are kind of more resilient are identified, Cyberpath students then deliver these services to the clients themselves. So you will get real client kind of facing work during your time with us and be delivering to real clients, SMEs, and really making a difference to a lot of different businesses in terms of their understanding of cybersecurity, their overall cyber maturity, and how they kind of move forward in the future to make sure that they're protected against cyber attacks. So the program works with university students across the UK. It is a paid program, and you get to work with lots of different cyber practitioners, and we have here today police officers and other people in industry to make sure you can deliver these projects kind of fluently and with ease. So the Cyberpath program as a whole is really seen as a part-time job. It's a 0-hour contract that you do alongside your studies, and we kind of see it that we help you take what you're learning in academia into kind of an industry setting and apply that knowledge into a client-facing role where you can really utilize maybe the tools you're learning about in your studies or the frameworks that you're utilizing, and kind of use them in a more real-life way. So when you do come to apply for jobs in the future, you will be nice and set up with both soft skills and professional and personal skills too. So that's a little bit about the program and kind of what we do. If I could ask for the next slide, please. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Thomas to explain a little bit more about how we support businesses.
Yeah. So if any of you are familiar with sort of some of the main issues in cybersecurity at the moment, two of the largest issues, there are more than just these two, but two of the largest issues are that a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises typically aren't conducting security engagements, either because they don't know where to start or the cost is too prohibitively expensive. And also there is a shortage of talented people joining cybersecurity and being able to sort of immediately go into jobs and being able to do those roles. And CyberPath essentially is an attempt to sort of try and help solve both of those problems. So we use students as in order to deliver security products to SMEs, and we do that to both help increase security of SMEs, make sure they can get the security testing that they need and in some cases they want, and be able to point them towards how to do security testing, while also giving you guys the experience that you can then take into the industry. So you can essentially come through CyberPath, and if we're doing our job correctly, you should be able to sort of enter a cybersecurity role and be familiar with sort of the skills and requirements of that, almost immediately. So as you can imagine, we identify and explain these solutions to these challenges. We sort of let you, we give you an idea of how to conduct testing. We give you an idea of how to do reporting. And also, like, you getting an experience delivering these services to clients, writing reports, and so communicating with them, so you can deliver that academic knowledge to the program, and then hopefully go into a role afterwards. Eli, can I get the next slide as well, if you're all right? And obviously, as part of this, National is part of the CRC network, which is a sort of an overarching umbrella against a number of cyber resilience centres across the UK. These are all, as you can see from the image there, all of these sort of incorporate various different police services within them. But the logic behind these is that these will have a better idea of the issues that are in that area. What works for the Southwest might not necessarily work for the Northwest. And that's one of the reasons why we're trying to, we split these out into these different services and different centres to make sure that we can support those industries in those areas as best as we possibly can. And so CyberPath obviously is part of National, which is the overarching one that do it. So we basically conduct services based, from clients of these regional CRCs. And I believe I'm passing over to Abdullah now to go through the various services that we offer.
Thank you very much. So we have a wide range of services that we provide to SMEs. These are a mix of technical and non-technical services, and it'll help students become better, well-rounded cybersecurity professionals when they finish off from the programme. I'll kind of go through a brief outline of what these different services are, but I like to put the services into 4 categories: training, technical, OSINT services, as well as policy. So the first category, training, let's say security awareness training. I will probably, you'll hear me call it as a SAT throughout this thing, but it's usually, it'll stand for security awareness training. This is a non-technical service where you will present our cybersecurity training to businesses to help them improve on their cyber hygiene and become more resilient. And it's not just to a business level that we speak to them, it's also that they can take away and implement it within their personal lives as well. The service is majority delivered virtually through the likes of Teams, but on occasions we do have requests from clients who wish to have this training done in person, so students have the opportunity to have a physical face-to-face delivery with clients as well. So the next service is our Crunchy Technical Services. FSWA, First Step Web App Assessment. This you can consider a light touch web assessment where we review a client's site to identify any low-hanging fruits. This service is beneficial for students who maybe haven't had too much experience with Linux or command line tools and lets them dip their toe in the water. The benefit to clients is that it's a very quick assessment, around about 4 hours, and they get a short report identifying any risk spots. This is different from one of our other services, which is called a web app assessment, which I'll go into a little bit more in the next slide. But this is just a kind of a light touch web assessment. Then we have the internal vulnerability assessment. This is where you are assessing the client's network from inside the firewall, so you're identifying any weak spots within there. We do not do any penetration testing. We only do vulnerability assessment. So we identify the vulnerability in the system, but we do not exploit it or hide our tracks. Next slide, Eli. So along with the internal vulnerability assessment, we have the external vulnerability assessment. So the internal is from inside the firewall. The external is you're assessing any external internet-facing devices that the client might have. So you're assessing it from outside the firewall. This could be, for example, you're assessing any sort of VPNs or printers or CCTVs that can be accessed through the internet to see if we can gain access to the internal network through the internet. We also have the web app assessment that I spoke about. It's kind of like the extended version of the FSWA. This is where we assess a client's website against the OWASP top 10. And part of the assessment also includes the FSWA, the first step web app assessment, but you use the OWASP top 10 to fully test the website. In the service, we can end up getting accounts and seeing if we can purchase items for a penny, or look and see if we can access any other accounts, or potentially elevate our privileges within the website. The Microsoft 365 review, this is where we assess a client's Microsoft 365 tenant against the CIS, the Center for Internet Security, their standard, and evaluate what improvements can be made to their environment. It's a bit of an audit that we do, and a lot of businesses set up Microsoft 365 with the default settings and think, brilliant, that's us. That's good just to get yourself up and running. But from a security standpoint, there are some major improvements that can be made, and we look to identify any of those and let the client know. Because at the end of the day, the client doesn't know what they don't know, and that's what we're there to do. Then we move on to our OSINT category. Now we have two services for open source intelligence. This is individual internet discovery and corporate internet discovery. So to define for anybody who doesn't know what the OSINT services is, this is where we use freely available public information available online through the clear web. So we're not going on the dark web, we only use the clear web, and we also use tooling to identify any risks to the subject. Now, this subject can be an individual or a business, and this is very much an investigation piece where we are finding out the information that's available and connecting the dots. Finally, we have the policy category. We have the cyber business continuity and the security policy review. We assess the policies that the clients currently have. We do not create policies for the client. We assess what they currently have against the industry standard, the ISO standards, to identify any gaps. And then we can help them with any sort of improvements and suggest what might be added to the documents to make them more robust and resilient. For the security policy review, we assess against ISO 27001, the Information Security Management System policy standard. The business continuity, we assess against the ISO 22301, which is Business Continuity Management Systems. So we have all these services that are delivered, but we don't just hand them over to you and say, right, okay, Eli, I need a IVA tomorrow. The supervisors are there to support you throughout the whole journey. We're there to support you at the start of the journey, the start of the delivery, during the delivery, and even after the delivery is finished, we're there to support you if you have any questions. So this allows the students to kind of come out of their comfort zone and try out new things in a safe environment and become better. I believe, next slide, Eli, and I'm handing over.
Thank you very much. That was excellent. So, as Abdullah said, the beauty of it is some of those services you might not have heard of before, but actually the supervisors of the CyberPath program are designed to ensure that we train you up, you can understand these services, and that you're supported in delivering them as well. So you'll get a good amount of training, a good amount of both personal and professional development and mentoring from our excellent supervisors who have all worked in industry to professional standards and are very good at what they do. So who do we work with? So we work with lots of different clients, and I'll come on to one specifically in a second for you. But generally speaking, CyberPath interacts with lots of different people in lots of different ways. So we have our national ambassadors. Our national ambassadors are part of the National Cyber Resilience Centre Group, and I specifically work with them to generate CPD opportunities for you. So at the moment, we're working with some of those brands to organise office visits, others for training and certifications, all to be confirmed, but that is on the horizon for what we're trying to aim for as the program grows out. So we've got some brilliant kind of businesses there, some of which I'm sure all of you will kind of recognize, and we get the honor of working with them, which is absolutely excellent. As we've said, we deliver directly to SMEs, or small to medium-sized enterprises and businesses, to help them improve their overall cyber maturity and how they improve themselves. While you might not speak to the client directly, in some cases you might present your work, in some cases you might not. But as a CyberPath student, you'll be making a direct impact to kind of their overall resilience and generally overall in terms of the UK and the UK's cyber resilience and ability to respond to cyber attacks, which is really quite something, especially as a student. And we also work with universities. So we work with universities across the UK to help engage students in applying for the programme. And we keep in touch with your universities as you go through the programme so they can kind of support, etc. And we do a lot of careers fairs, we do a lot of kind of stands, talks, etc. within universities that we work with, not only to promote cybersecurity as a general kind of choice as a career, because cybersecurity is very broad. It's a very niche part of technology, but the opportunities you have with it are broad and excellent. But also to make sure that you're all aware of the opportunities available to you while you're in university, as that was one of the things I found. I was very lucky to have come across the CyberPath programme when I was in university, and we want to ensure that all students have the opportunity to apply and all know about it. So that's kind of who we work with. And looking at an SME success story, just as a really brief overview here, I won't read it out, but we work with lots of different SMEs, and this was a security awareness training particularly run by a student, and this is the kind of feedback that they get. So that feedback would obviously be directed at you if you were to deliver this security training, and it's making a real difference. And I think that's one of the most rewarding things about the program, is not only are you training and personally developing, you're genuinely making a difference to a lot of different people's businesses and overall lives, even such, to protect them against ever-growing cyber threats, and it is a real honor. Next slide, please. So a student, as I said, myself and Eli were both students on the program, and I were joined when I was in my second year of university, and I studied mainly around the security awareness training and the OSINT tasks, as they were where my kind of interests and passions lied. So as I said, I'm back to kind of help grow out the program, but CyberPath really did benefit me in quite a few ways. So after, when I was applying for graduate roles particularly, I was able to speak about my experience kind of directing with clients and liaising with clients and using my academic knowledge in an industry setting, which really supported me. And I was also mentored really, really well, actually by the likes of Abdullah, who mentored me when I was a student on the programme, so I can speak personally for how brilliant the supervisors are. To the extent of which actually the National CRC group actually supported me in my dissertation within university as well, and I focused around OSINTing, which was really interesting. So not only are you gaining a part-time work placement here, you're gaining a mentor, you're gaining experience, and also their support, which is invaluable in terms of CV checks, interview prep, support within studies. If you have a question, that you can come to them with an answer. It's a really lovely community to be a part of, if anything else, and that's half the reason why I came back, because I enjoyed it so much and I felt it really benefited me as a student. I was really excited to be able to give back in the new role as talent manager. I'm going to hand over now to Eli, who was in a similar boat to me and has also come on, but as a supervisor this time. Eli.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm Eli. I'm one of the supervisors here, but similar to Sophie, I was also one of the students at Cyberpath. So I started back in May 2023 was when I first started as a student on Cyberpath program. So I joined during my first year of university at Plymouth University. So I was studying computer science with cybersecurity. And from joining, I was actually thrown straight into meaningful technical work. So this is where I actually got hands-on experience helping clients, helping businesses. And it really did feel really rewarding because, at the end of the day, you are actually helping all these SMEs out with issues like maybe slightly vulnerable networks they've got, or if they're not quite sure on something in our security awareness training that we do. So if they're not quite sure on how to enable multi-factor authentication or how to make those really strong passwords, that's where we kind of give back and help these people in that regard. So yeah, so from that, I was started off as a student, and then I went to a security awareness training supervisor. So this is where I then embodied the role of a supervisor. So during the security awareness trainings, I was actually on the call just with the student. So there was nobody above me, no supervisor on the call. I was acting, as that supervisor, answering all those technical questions that the clients often had. And then from there, I then became a supervisor. So this was starting in September 2025, so about 6 months ago now. So still relatively, I guess you could still call it new, so I don't feel too old. Still relatively new to the job. And yeah, so that's supervisor where I am now. So I basically lead all deliveries, help out clients, and deliver all the projects from start to finish. And I give it to you guys as students to take those projects to learn and yeah, give back to the clients. And yeah. So some testimonials as well from other students. So this is from Joshua Holtz, one of our Cyberpath students currently on the program. So he's also a SAT master, similar to what I was back when I was on the uh, as a student on the program. So it really did help him massively to gain lots of experience, that extra confidence. One of the things that I do see quite often as a supervisor is actually seeing students gain that confidence as they go throughout the program. So it is a really rewarding thing to actually witness. Um, and yeah.
Just as a point that Joshua has started off as doing security awareness training, and he's delivered on so many that he too has become that SAP master. He's also went on to deliver many of our technical services, and also has delivered on a couple of special projects, which was an open source intelligence investigation, which he did a lot of good work on. He again has embraced the true meaning of Cyberpath and taken every opportunity that's came his way. And through the connections that he's made through Cyberpath, it's helped him to land and secure his full-time position that he's always wanted, and he will be starting soon. I believe he's going through training at the moment. We have another testimonial from one of our other students, Rania. She started the program, and it's been, I think, 2 years now. But the thing about Rania is that she joined us not coming from a cybersecurity degree. It was a non-cybersecurity, I believe it was robotics that she did her degree in. And again, like Joshua, she took on every opportunity within the program and she has delivered on every single one of our services. More recently, she delivered on a policy review, which was in extent of 100 pages. So she did a really good job on that. Taking on all these opportunities has allowed her to gain a vast amount of knowledge, of real world working knowledge about how to deliver on services. And it's not just about using like hack the box and or try hack me and learning through that. It's actually how you would be conscious on doing testing and making sure you don't knock anything over. And through delivering all these services, she's understood what she likes and what she doesn't like, which is also important because cybersecurity is so vast that everybody wants to be a red teamer, but until you try out the other things, you might find out that you enjoy security awareness better or policy work. But as I said, Rania and Joshua have both reached a level. They both became SAP masters as well. So they not only they can deliver the service, they also train and support other students to get to that high standard, and also they manage the audience as well within the delivery. So on an application form, whenever they're filling in their CV or anything, it's not just a case of they say, oh, I delivered on a service. They can state that they trained and upskilled their peers and also manage the delivery of a service, which sounds a lot better than just saying, oh, I delivered on a service. We have Jennifer as well. Jennifer started with us last year, and she started off with security awareness training as being the first service that she delivered on, and she's shown a huge amount of dedication and commitment, where she has went from not being able to, she's never delivered on any sort of presentations, or it was just like a quick group presentation at university, to now she's at a standard where she is going to be delivering on an in-person security awareness training session soon. So we're just waiting for that date to come along, and she'll be going over to the client to deliver on that. She's also increased her knowledge on the delivery of our services in the technical sphere as well, and she really enjoys the sort of technical element that we have. One thing that I would say is I have been part of this program in one guise or another for the last 5 years. Majority of the students that I've spoken to throughout that time, when they're applying for their jobs, it's the same thread that I see throughout all their interviews, is that once the employer finds out that they were working on CyberPath, then it just becomes a conversation about what did you do in CyberPath, and that is they just find that so fascinating about the program. And a couple of my students have said their full interview was all about CyberPath and what they did. So there's immense value within the program, and it helps the students become better. Sophie, I believe it's yourself.
Yes, thank you very much. So, speaking about this incredible program, how do you apply? So, as I alluded to earlier, we are opening a recruitment round specifically for the Migrant Leaders cohort. So, we would love to see some applications from you if you might like to consider joining the program. And so, this recruitment kind of round, etc. I'll speak through kind of how it runs, but key dates that I will share in a follow-up email that will be hopefully sent to you all. We're going to open applications on the 6th of April and close them on the 20th of April. So this will give you a 2-week window to fill in and submit your application. The application can either be found on our website and can be downloaded from our website, or I will get a link sent out as well with it that hopefully can be shared with you all as well. The application itself consists of a small form as to who you are, and then 3 questions about kind of why you'd like to join the program and why you see that you would fit the program as well. So there is lots of different ways that you can express yourself, but please do make sure to fill out all of the questions in depth. It's our way of getting to know you and your suitability for the program. So we do take a lot from the application that you submit, and we do appreciate a lot of effort being put into it. So please do. So as I said, don't feel the need to panic and feel like you need to take this all in now. We will send a follow-up email with you, but just for your awareness that it will open in April, which is a month away as well. So it gives you a little bit more time to maybe ask some questions, think about if this is right for you, and go from there. You can have the next slide, please. So how to apply? So application window, as I said, 6th to the 20th, and you must submit your application and CV as well. So we won't accept one without the other, so please make sure you submit both. Eligibility is really important, and this is absolutely key to when you apply. So you must have a desire to have a career in cyber after university, or an interest in cybersecurity at the very least. You'll be delivering cyber services, etc., etc. So please be aware of that. You must be in full-time education, so you must be studying at a UK university to apply to this programme. We currently only support university students, and we'd like to see that opened out in the coming years, but we're not quite there yet. So you must be in full-time education, and you must have 11 months left of education by the time the application window closes. So by April 20th, you must have 11 months left of your programme before you graduate. If you have any less, sadly, due to the amount of time it takes to kind of delegate contracts and security clearances, the timings of which won't be worth you enrolling, sadly. So we do ask for the 11 months. And also have a right to work in the UK is extremely important as well, as you will need to go through a level of clearance to be able to work with us. But all that, and if you do pass all those eligibility, submit us your application and CV. If you're successful, I sort through the applications currently, and the type of things that I certainly look for are passion, desire, and what are you doing in your spare time to further your own knowledge, and what would you like to get out of the programme is something that I really look to see kind of what students are applying for. If you use AI for your application, you will not be taken forward to interview. We do have an AI identifier that we use, and I have no problem with saying no to that. We'd like to hear directly from you and not from ChatGPT. But if you are successful and we think you'd be a great fit on the programme, you'll be invited to an interview. That will be with myself and one of the other members of the team, and we will likely ask you to do a presentation on a cyber topic that interests you, a few questions, and then a conversation around what you would like to achieve. So from there, that is kind of how we would go. And then if you are successful and you are to be accepted, as I said, you will go through clearance, and then we will welcome you to the programme, all being well. So a nice simple application process, application, interview, acceptance, or not moving forward. We like to keep it simple, we like to keep it straightforward, and we will keep you informed the whole way through the process as well to make sure that you kind of know where you stand. Thomas.
Sorry, I'm just having a fist fight with the mute button on Zoom. Yeah, so the eligible is sort of retouching on what sort of Sophie said there. We have the eligibility criteria for the program. The main one is you will need to have a right to work in the UK. I can imagine considering the cohort that we're speaking to, that hopefully that's not a contentious issue. You will need to be in full-time tertiary education as well. These are just some of the requirements. You will need to have more than 11 months remaining in your education. This is just essentially just to make sure that we can actually offer you something that allows you to get to get the most out of the program. If because of the vetting, because of the application process that we've got to go to, because we work with the police, what we don't want to do is we don't want to bring you on and then only be able to offer you sort of 2 or 3 months of work after all the vetting and stuff. So we do try and make sure that you have more of 11 months of time remaining in your education. And arguably one of the most important ones is a passion for cybersecurity. I mean, obviously that's what we deal with. So if you want to get into cybersecurity as a result of after your university studies, then that's the sort of thing we want. The one thing I do have to mention that we do have, just because we've done some recruitment drives recently and it has come up, we have an automatic sift through a number of the CVs and stuff. And as a result of that, we do detection for AI. So we have had a number of cases, in particularly on the most recent recruitment thing, where people have used AI to write their CVs. And we've detected that. And generally speaking, if we detected that you've used AI to write your CV, it doesn't mean you probably won't go through to the interview stage. So we just want to reiterate that part of it as well.
Thanks, Thomas. That's great. So to kind of conclude our presentation today, I'd just like to draw on the fact that we are currently in the process of setting up a graduate network as well. So when we don't believe that when you finish university and you move on into industry, that's the end of your time with Cyberpath. So we're creating a graduate network for essentially another community for you to be when you're out into the industry and your first jobs, kind of continuing to benefit you, but also hopefully continuing to have you give back to our community as well as we have more students go through the program. So we're hoping to build that out to kind of have consistent engagement with us. work with all the different people from academia to industry to policing, and kind of keep in contact with your fellow students that hopefully you'll meet throughout the programme. We'll be here for support and mentorship if you ever need us, and be able to give you the chance to give back as well. So may that be you come back to give a training, you come back to give a webinar, a presentation, you come along to one of our events, something along those lines. But we do really believe in the importance of community here and how much of a brilliant thing that builds, and the ability for you to be able to keep in touch with each other after you graduate, and us as well, that will be rolling out soon. So just another added benefit there for the overall Cyberpath programme. Thanks, Eli. Next slide, please. And I think that concludes our presentation today. So I'd like to thank you all so much for welcoming us and hearing about the Cyberpath programme. It's been an absolute pleasure. The QR code directs you to our website if you'd like to go and visit. And as I said, I will send follow-up information about the recruitment cycle that we will open in April, application and CV form, and we will take it from there. But we're really excited to hopefully see some applications from you. If you have any questions, I know the team can stay for 5 minutes to answer anything that you might like to ask. May that be as a supervisor, as me as a talent manager, Thomas as technical senior, David as well as head of Cyberpath if you would like, or if you have anything that you don't feel like we quite covered. But if not, we can be contacted outside as well via our kind of email address, and do feel free to contact us at any time. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sophie and the Cyberpath team. That was a very informative presentation and a fantastic opportunity for our university students. Really brilliant for those who've got 11 months or more left of their university degree to consider applying to you. I would encourage the Migrant Leaders mentees who are online to either type in the chat any questions they have, or put your hands up, or speak so that you can ask any questions you might like to. What if they have less than 11 months left before they finish their degree? Would that make them automatically ineligible to apply?
Yes, sadly, it would make them ineligible just because of the kind of time it takes to onboard the students and to make sure that they get valuable output from the programme in that time.
That makes perfect sense to me. And what about the degree subjects? Do the degree subjects have to be relevant to cybersecurity or computer science for them to apply and have a chance of success?
They don't, no, and that is
yeah.
the beauty of the Cyberpath programme. We welcome anyone from any degree course. All that we ask is you have a clear interest in cybersecurity, and obviously there will be a necessity to have a basic understanding of cybersecurity concepts. It was great to have kind of an understanding of cybersecurity attacks that are going on at the moment and be active in the industry to kind of be furthering your own knowledge. We do look out for that. But no, we have people, I think, as Abdullah said, we have one of our very best students is a robotics student. And I know we have a few history students in there as well. So really, it's just about having a passion for cybersecurity over what degree you're studying.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit to that, like cybersecurity is an incredibly broad area, and actually, like, some of the best people in cybersecurity are the people that have approached it and joined it from sort of other areas of IT or even outside of IT. It is, and in some ways that's also beneficial because you can approach it from, you can approach various parts of cybersecurity from different ways. So I would certainly encourage. So if you have an interest in cybersecurity, regardless of what that degree is, I would certainly encourage you to apply, because it may well be that sort of the experience you've got in the degree that you're currently doing will also be relevant, and actually may also provide a certain amount of experience to cybersecurity in general.
Thank you so much. I imagine a key question, to put it bluntly, would be time and money. In other words, during the last year of their degree, when typically they might join in the penultimate year of their degree, it's a busy year while they're doing a degree. How much investment of time will this need for them to be part of your program if they're lucky enough to be successful in their application?
Of course. So the job is a part-time 0-hour position, which means that their availability can differ week on week if it needs to be. We always encourage academic studies must come first, as obviously university is important. But in terms of time, we would obviously encourage you to take on projects while you have the opportunity to do so, but not at the detriment of your studies. So if that looks like you can give us one afternoon a week, if that means you can give us 3 days a week, it completely depends on the student and how they manage their time. That availability can change, and we will delegate projects based on the availability they give us at the time. In terms of pay, unless I'm wrong, and colleagues do feel free to correct me if I am, but I believe it's £15 an hour now.
Wonderful. So that's well above the London living wage.
Absolutely, yes.
That's great. Thank you very much for clarifying those, Sophie.
Of
Ellen,
course.
a little commendation for you, actually. The first time we talked, or the second time we talked, you said, is the pay rate compatible with the London living wage? And I looked back, and at that time, it wasn't. We fixed that. You can take credit for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And the credit goes to you and the team and the organization that you listened to the feedback and you're investing in these positions. That's a big investment from Cyberpath. So
We are
we
indeed.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, I would want to advocate these opportunities with Cyberpath because it seems to me that those students who apply and are successful in getting this position actually, through the onboarding and the client work and the training, it makes them infinitely more employable once they graduate from university because they've got such high quality relevant experience, not just in technical areas, but also client work, and having colleagues at Cyberpath to work with. It's a fantastic program. I'm so pleased that you're doing this, and we would love to continue working with you as migrant leaders.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure getting to know the community that you run and all the excellent people that you have involved. So it would be our delight to welcome a few of them to the program.
Thank you so much. A pleasure working with you. And thank you, Migrant Leaders mentees who attended and those who are later listening to this video. Please check out Cyberpath. This is a fantastic opportunity.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.